The days that followed were a whirlwind. My private experiments with mascara and makeup had snowballed into something far beyond what I ever imagined. Emma's friends were constantly messaging, wanting tutorials, tips, and live demonstrations. I had become the center of attention, a secret celebrity in my small circle, and each interaction pushed me deeper into a dual life that I could barely manage. It started innocently enough. Lily stopped by almost every day, eager to learn new tricks. I showed her how to blend eyeshadows for depth, create perfectly winged eyeliner, and apply blush to enhance cheekbones. My confidence grew with each lesson, and for a moment, I felt invincible. But the thrill carried a cost. Every day, the risk of exposure increased. One slip, one unexpected interruption, and Emma, or worse, someone outside our small circle, might discover my secret. That Friday, the danger became tangible. Emma had told me she would be home late, giving me a few precious hours for an extended tutorial session. I had invited 3 friends over: Lily, Sarah, and Mia. The apartment buzzed with excitement, laughter, and the smell of perfumed makeup. I felt a thrill as I demonstrated new techniques, guiding their hands, adjusting their posture, and critiquing their work with an authority I had never felt before. But then, a sudden knock on the door froze me mid-sentence. My heart skipped a beat. Emma was supposed to be at class. This had to be someone else. I glanced nervously at my friends, who looked equally puzzled. Who could that be? Sarah whispered. I crept to the door, holding my breath, and peeked through the peephole. My blood ran cold. It wasn't a stranger, it was Emma. And she looked different. Her eyes narrowed as she studied the apartment from the hallway. Something was wrong. Panic surged. I had no time to hide the evidence. Makeup palettes, mirrors, and brushes were scattered across the living room, signs of my secret life laid bare. I turned to my friends, wide-eyed. Hide everything. Quick. They scrambled, tossing palettes into bags, flipping mirrors face down, and shoving mascara tubes into drawers. But it was too late. Emma's key clicked in the lock, and she stepped inside, her gaze sharp, calculating. Alex, what's going on here? She asked, her tone calm but icy. I froze. Words failed me. I tried to play it cool, to laugh it off as nothing, but the panic was overwhelming. My friends, who had come to learn, now stood silently, uncertain whether to intervene or remain invisible. The room felt like a trap, and I realized how fragile my secret had become. Emma's eyes fell on the makeup brushes, the palettes scattered on the floor, and then on me. My lashes perfectly curled, eyeliner sharp, lips tinted subtly. The truth was written across my face. You've been experimenting, she said slowly, almost whispering. My heart raced as I tried to gauge her reaction. Was she angry? Curious? Disgusted? Before I could respond, my phone buzzed loudly. A group message had gone out accidentally. Alex's skills are amazing. We're having a tutorial today. The notifications lit up the screen like fireworks, and I knew there was no escaping. Emma's expression shifted, a mixture of shock and incredulity. Everyone knows? She asked. I swallowed hard, nodding. I didn't mean for it to happen like this. I just wanted to try. Just a little. Her gaze softened slightly, but tension still crackled in the air. Show me, she said finally. I hesitated, uncertainty gnawing at me. But something inside, pride, desire, the thrill of exposure, pushed me forward. I grabbed a brush and demonstrated a simple mascara technique. Emma watched intently, her lips slightly parted, eyes following each movement. It was intoxicating. Her attention, the validation, the tension between secrecy and revelation, it all surged through me. I felt more alive than ever, yet vulnerable, exposed in a way that left me shaking. And then came the twist. The doorbell rang again. My heart froze. Who? I stammered. Emma raised an eyebrow. I peeked through the peephole. A delivery person stood there with a large package addressed to me. But when I opened it, I froze in disbelief. Inside was a full professional makeup kit, complete with high-end brushes, palettes, and a note. We've heard about your skills. Teach us everything. Anonymous. The anonymity made my stomach twist. Someone outside our circle knew. Someone was watching. The suspense escalated to an almost unbearable level. My friends exchanged nervous glances, and Emma looked at me with a mix of curiosity and wariness. Over the next hour, I attempted to maintain control. I demonstrated techniques to Emma, explaining every detail, feeling the familiar rush of adrenaline as I transformed myself and guided her. But every moment was a tightrope walk. I was exhilarated by the attention, yet terrified of the consequences. One misstep could expose my secret to the world. Then, as if the universe wanted to push me further, Lily's phone buzzed. A social media post had gone live, showing a blurred video of our tutorial session. Comments flooded in. Teach me too. This is incredible. Alex, you're amazing. The stakes had escalated. My secret, once intimate and private, was now public, at least partially. The thrill of crossdressing, of teaching, of performing, collided with the fear of exposure. My identity, my secret passion, my carefully curated persona, all were at risk. As the evening wore on, I realized that I couldn't stop. The combination of makeup, transformation, and attention had captured me completely. Every brushstroke, every compliment, every glance from Emma or my friends amplified the suspense, the emotional stakes, the danger. I was trapped in a thrilling, terrifying world where desire, secrecy, and identity intertwined. By nightfall, I sat alone, exhausted yet exhilarated, staring into the mirror. The mascara, the eyeliner, the blush, they had transformed me physically and emotionally. I could feel the duality of my existence. Alex, the quiet college student, and Alex, the confident, captivating persona that had emerged from curiosity and secrecy. And yet, the suspense wasn't over. Who else had seen? How far could I push this before someone discovered the full truth? Could I maintain control, or would the thrill of transformation consume me entirely? The answers were uncertain, the danger palpable, and the emotional stakes higher than ever. The apartment was silent now. The chaos of tutorials, laughter, and social media notifications had faded into an uneasy calm. I sat on the edge of the couch, mascara-streaked fingers trembling slightly, heart still racing from the adrenaline of exposure and performance. Emma had left for a few minutes to take a call, leaving me alone with my thoughts and the lingering feeling of being watched. The anonymous package sat on the coffee table, taunting me with its professional brushes and palettes. Whoever had sent it knew enough to anticipate my next steps, to feed into my obsession, and perhaps even push me further. The thrill that had consumed me all evening now mingled with dread. Was this the start of something bigger? Something uncontrollable? I picked up the note again, tracing the elegant handwriting with my finger. We've heard about your skills. Teach us everything. Anonymous. My phone buzzed and I jumped. A new message from an unknown number appeared. We're watching. Don't disappoint us. Prank? Or had my private life become public in ways I couldn't yet understand? Every shadow in the room felt like eyes following me. Every brush, every mirror reflection, now carried the weight of scrutiny. Emma returned, her expression unreadable. She placed a gentle hand on my shoulder, and I flinched, realizing how tense I had become. Are you okay? She asked softly, though her eyes darted to the package on the table. I think so, I stammered, trying to regain composure. But the truth was, I didn't feel okay. Not really. Something had shifted tonight. I had crossed a line from private experimentation into a world where curiosity, admiration, and danger collided. Emma tilted her head, studying me. Alex, this isn't just makeup anymore, is it? I swallowed hard. I wanted to say no, to assure her it was harmless fun. But the truth was undeniable. I had changed. I wasn't just playing with mascara. I had discovered a side of myself that was intoxicating, empowering, and frightening all at once. Before I could answer, another buzz echoed from the doorway. I froze. Emma's eyes followed mine. The doorbell rang again, sharp and insistent. I hadn't expected anyone else. Should I check? Emma asked cautiously. I shook my head, dread curling in my stomach. No, I'll handle it. I moved toward the door, heart pounding, and peeked through the peephole. There was no one there, just the empty hallway. I exhaled slowly, trying to convince myself it was nothing. But then, a small envelope slipped beneath the door, pushed in with deliberate care. I picked it up, my hands trembling. Emma leaned over my shoulder as I opened it. Inside was a single Polaroid photo, me, earlier that evening mid-tutorial, perfectly in my element. My friends' blurred faces surrounded me, but I was the clear focus. Emma gasped softly. "Alex, someone has been watching you." My stomach dropped. Someone had recorded me without my knowledge. Someone knew everything about my secret life. The thrill, the tutorials, the transformations, it was no longer mine alone. I felt exposed, vulnerable, and completely unprepared for what would come next. My phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. Ready for the next lesson? I backed away from the door, realizing with growing fear that this was just the beginning. The fun, the excitement, the empowerment, all of it had spiraled into a suspenseful nightmare. Who was watching? How much did they know? And what would they want from me next? Emma looked at me, her eyes wide but calm. "Alex, we need to figure this out. Together." I nodded, but a cold fear lingered in my chest. Together, yes, but the uncertainty gnawed at me. My secret was no longer private, and the thrill I had once craved now felt like a trap I couldn't escape. As I stared at the Polaroid in my hands, a shiver ran down my spine. Outside the window, the city lights flickered innocently, but I knew they hid eyes that could see everything. Every brushstroke, every swipe of mascara, every vulnerable moment, someone, somewhere, had witnessed it all. And then, from the corner of the room, a shadow moved. I froze. My heart hammered. Emma stepped closer, protective yet uncertain. I strained my eyes. Nothing. But the feeling didn't leave. Somewhere out there, they were waiting, watching, judging, and perhaps planning the next move. I didn't know who would come next or when, but one thing was certain. My life had changed forever. And just like that, the secret I thought I controlled had taken control of me.